the thing that worries me in the U.S. is the supply of Treasury bonds, given the ballooning budget deficits that we have. So there's a Treasury borrowing advisory committee that advises the Treasury on what to issue. And they estimate over the next 10 years, we'll see 12 trillion in U.S. Treasury issuance. That's against a backdrop. There's only 15 trillion outstanding right now.
Where's the demand going to come from?
Well, and you'll get the demand because people will buy it. But the question then is, well, what do people have to sell in order to buy those treasuries? It's risk assets, it's equities, it's corporate bonds, it's everything else that they hold. I think that's one of the risks that are out there in the coming years for financial markets.
Well, I'm not asking you to be sort of a political strategist here, but just since since it's such a major event risk for the world, what's your feeling on what will happen between the U.S. and China?
Well, my view is in the short run, the reason that we have this trade war is more to do with Trump's base and his opinion polls. And this rhetoric of trade war actually works. His opinion polls are doing fairly well.
And you're an American. You see this from the ground.
Well, not in the area I live, but in a good portion of the country, this trade war rhetoric plays very well, and it supports his poll numbers. And to the extent that that continues, and it looks like it does, Trump doesn't really have a big incentive to settle this. And so there was a talk earlier that Trump's looking more at equity markets and whether an equity market fall may spur him to strike a deal. But I don't think, it's true that the solid economic performance over the last 2 years, at least until recently, did support some of his story and definitely helped his poll numbers. But the key really is, okay, you can't use the solid economic story as much as you did in the past. But if you keep beating China on the trade war story, your poll numbers go up, and so I don't think he really has a big incentive to solve this right now.
But he could also come out looking like a winner if he says, "I got a deal and I schooled them," because that's how he might spin it, right? I got him good, kind of thing. I don't know how the rhetoric would play out, but he could turn it around to his benefit for his voting base.
I think that's the end game. That's definitely the plan. But in the end, the reason that the rhetoric works well is China is not playing fair. They're taking your jobs. If we strike a deal, you'll have these great jobs. That's never really going to happen in the U.S. So it's a question of, is it better to strike a deal, have the equity markets rally, but his base aren't going to get those jobs. So if you don't strike a deal and say China's unwilling, you're going to look good for the next 2 years. And that's why I think it's going to be really hard for China to strike a trade deal, because his poll numbers work without striking one.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.